Okay, our first exercise is going to be creating an AutoCAD model. Okay, so we're going to do something like this. I'm going to show you how to do this from scratch. When you're done, there's a little X over here to close AutoCAD down, and if you want, you can save what you've done. When you get logged on, you should have an AutoCAD icon that you can double click on to bring up AutoCAD. You probably will have to go here for the first time and hit new, and then I want you to pick the AutoCAD. This one here is the default, and then just hit open, and then it will get right to here. And then I want to show you how to create a triangle using the line feature. So I'll select the line feature. If you leave your cursor on there for 2 seconds, it will come up with a help screen explaining to you how that works. So what it's saying is, if you select a point, it'll just basically follow the dots wherever you're selecting in order. When I put my cursor and pick on that line, you'll notice that it's giving me these weird coordinates. I want it to snap right on the grid. So on the bottom where it says model, to the right of this, there's a thing called snap mode, and it currently is off because it's not highlighted in blue. If you select on it, it will activate the snap mode. So you'll get a little tooltip if you're patient. Just wait a couple seconds. If you're not sure what the icon is, you can wait for the tooltip to come up and tell you. So I'm going to click on this, and now when I go and create, I'm going to do a full screen because I'm in AWS. I want to do a full screen here, and we'll just make a triangle. Whoops. By creating a line, and I'll create another line, and then I'll create another line over here, and voila, I created a rectangle. Now the easiest way for you to get out of this is to hit escape, and it will stop following you. However, when you're in AWS, if you hit escape, it's going to keep kicking you out of the full screen. So the other thing you can do is just jump into what you're going to do next. And I'm going to put a circle right here in the middle. If I hit the down arrow, there's several different kinds of circles, and I'm going to just start with a circle radius. And what I can do here is create a center point anywhere you want, and then just kind of move your cursor out, and it's using that as its radius, measuring from the center point to wherever you clicked to define the radius of that circle. The one I really like for this example is 10, 10, 10, and it's 3 tangents in a row. So we can go ahead and select tangent and pick a line, pick a second line, and pick a third line, and it creates a circle that is tangent to all 3 lines. So this circle is touching each line, each side of the triangle. Alright, so that was example 1 there. And I'll have you try and repeat that same thing and then make a picture of it and put it into a Word doc. Now, if I remember right, I can highlight. Nope, I always do it backwards. I'm going to start from the bottom right and go up. Oh, what happened? Let's try it again. Oh, I hit escape. I'm going to just try and turn the line off. Nope, it's in line mode, and it wants me to hit escape to stop. Alright, so I'll try and go full screen again. And so it's click and let go, and click, and then everything in that box gets selected, and you can simply hit delete on your keyboard or right click anywhere on the screen. I guess it's erase or probably delete all. Either one of those I'm sure will work fine. This is new. No, that's deselect. Erase, I guess it's going to be erase. I'm looking for delete, but it looks like erase is now the new key here. This one here is rectangle. So we could go to rectangle, start here and come over to here, and it creates a rectangle. So instead of using line and clicking 4 times, I could just go to rectangle and click on the corners and it creates that rectangle. I'm going to put a circle using diameter. I'll click here for the center and click out here, and what I'm going to do here is go to dimension and select that line, and then put my cursor down here, select this line and put my cursor over here, and then click its position. If you use your scroll, you can zoom in, and if you hold your scroll button down, you can move it up and down and side to side. So I made that 10 by 22 and a half. It doesn't really matter what size you have. I just want you to know how to create the rectangle with dimensions on it. And under dimension, I'm going to select this circle, and it gives me the diameter size. Okay, and then I'm going to select this line, and then I'm going to try and grab that point. Oh, you sucker. I'm going to try and undo. Control Z is my undo command. If I can turn this off somehow. I'm going to have to hit escape. I don't know how else to do it. Trying to escape one more time. Still linked up here. And I'll try and delete that out. I was trying to do a dimension from that point to this point over here, and then move my cursor so it's dimensioning to the center of the hole. Okay. I don't really like that though. What I should be doing is dimensioning to a crosshair, and I'm going to show you why as soon as I can remember where the crosshair is. I think it's under this tab here called Annotate, and you got the center mark. I'm going to click on center mark and click on the edge of that circle, and it puts that center there. Do you see the problem here? This extension line goes right through that circle, and it can't do that. So when I do my dimension, under Annotate, you also find dimension there. So we'll go to dimension. I'm going to dimension from the end of this line. So if I put my cursor, I don't want intersect. I'm going to zoom up closer because I want that end of that line. If I leave my cursor there for a second, if I'm patient enough, there, I'm going to get an endpoint, grab that, slide down, now grab this endpoint, and then when I slide it this way or this way, it'll figure out what I'm trying to do if you can get it down far enough. Oh, of course, there we go. And now I've got that positioned correctly. I can go ahead and click a position there, and I've got a dimension 11, 22 and a half. That's where I put that. Again, I don't care, I just want to show you how to do that. So the first way, I didn't have the crosshair in there and it didn't come out correct, because see here I have a nice gap between that area, and over here there's no gap. So the best thing to do is to recreate that to make sure it's correct. So we're going to click on this, and with those little dots on it, it means it's selected, and I can hit delete on my keyboard to erase it. Let's put on another dimension again, and I want to get that endpoint, not the intersection. So I'm going to zoom up closer and make sure I grab towards the end. I don't know if I got it. And then this endpoint, and oh no, didn't like it. Hit escape, and I'm going to hit undo. That's the Control Z button on my keyboard, and let's try it again. Dimension, endpoint to endpoint. Oh. And then I just move my cursor about where I want that so it'll go in correctly, and click a position. And now I've got dimensions controlling the overall size of the rectangle, the location of the hole, and the diameter of the hole. Okay. All right. So this is assignment day 1. Triangle. I did the triangle with the tan. Circle with random. Okay, so I just did the box, and basically a plate with a hole in it, same thing. And we're going to do slot using tan. Let me do that one right now. Okay, if you recall, I want to click and let go and hit delete. That clears the screen, and I get to try something else. So I'm going to try and do something you may have seen me do in CATIA, and then we'll see what happens here. So I'll just create a simple rectangle, and I'm going to do circle, tan, oops, not tan radius, tan. So this line to this line to this line, oops, circle, this line to this line to this line. Okay. And what I'm going to try and do is use this command here called trim. If I click trim, I click on the edge, it gets rid of what I click on. So I'm going to get rid of these. I'm going to get rid of this and this, and then I'm going to hit, oh god, yeah, I don't know how to do this without hitting escape. I hit escape, select that line and delete it, select this line and delete it. Okay, so slots, holes, rectangles are very common geometrical shapes we make in design. I'll do that again. I'll have you make this as a horizontal one, and then try it as a vertical one. So we'll remove this whole thing and then hit delete, and I'll go back to full screen and go back to rectangle. And we'll do a rectangle. Yeah, polygons and rectangles. I'm just going to stick with rectangle right now. And just going to create a rectangle straight up and down here. And again, my favorite one here for circles, I think it's the funnest one, tan. 3 tangent lines, And there you go. And then if I double click it, it will stay on. Okay. Or it's on right now unless I hit the trim command, then it will override that and let me do the trim. It stays in the trim mode, and you can kind of see it go away when I put my cursor on it. Let me know if I click on it, that's what's going to disappear. And I'll remove this portion and this portion of the slot. So, oh, did I miss? That's how you create a slot, and then you erase those two lines at the ends. Alright, one last example. Let's escape out of this. And delete. And let's create a circle with a radius. I'm going to click here and type in a radius of 5. No. Let's do a radius of 10. Okay. So that's how you do a radius. I'm going to click here and try diameter. And I'm going to go off that same center point. Notice it says center, so it knows I'm linking to the same one. Now it's asking for a diameter, and I'll type in 10. And you notice the difference that I get. That number was a diameter, or if you type in a radius, it's going to multiply it by 2 to get the diameter. So that is radius, diameter. You also have two points. So let's go 2 points. And you also have, more commonly, 3 points. I could go 1, 2, 3 points. So I've got 3 circles there. And you've also got tan radius. So I could say I want to go tangent to this one, tangent to this one. Hopefully it'll come out here. I don't know my numbers, I'm guessing. Oops. Tan radius. I'm going to click here and type in 40. And you see how that circle's on the outside? I'll do this again. If it doesn't work, it's because the number's too small. Because I got to be, whatever this distance is, I have to be at least that distance. And I'll type in 80 on that side. This is going to be shorter, so I can use a smaller number. So tan radius, select these two, and then type in 30, maybe. Ooh. What happened? Tan radius, this one to this one at 30. There you have it. I could go back to the trim command and trim this one, this one. I've got some crazy shapes going on. Let's try tan. This one's gonna go right through this curve here. I'm gonna try and grab 3 curves. And there you have it. So we can do all kinds of funky shapes. I'll go to trim. I'm gonna trim this out. See, it stopped here because it was touching that, so when I do this, it's going to keep stopping, alright? I'm going to hit undo, and I'm going to show you a different kind of trim here. I'm going to hit trim, and then, wait a minute, looks like something's already highlighted. Do a trim and hit enter and grab this as my fence. No, What am I doing wrong here? Trim. Should be enter. And I pick that as my fence. I don't remember. Alright, I'll have to come back to that. Dang it. I want to trim this off. Okay, so I've got those all trimmed up. I'm just going to do circle radius and find that point for center. Just put something in there just because it looks weird to me. Do another one here, put my cursor on this. Had to hit escape again. Circle. Radius. Click here. Now, I could go to trim and trim this up, but I got a sharp edge. I don't like those sharp edges. So what we can do to get rid of that sharp edge is we can put a corner in there using the fillet command. Okay, so under the fillet command, I like to type in my radius. It's asking me for the radius. I can click right on the radius and type in a radius of 0.5. And then I could pick this this curve and this curve. What happened? Corner. Oh, it did. 5 is just too small. Let me undo that. Alright, let me look at this corner here. That's pretty sharp corner, right? So if you go to fillet, we could do a radius. So I pick on the radius and I'll type in, looks like I could go 5. Pick this curve and this curve over here. See, I just smoothed that out. So I could do the same thing on the other side here. Pick this curve, go to fillet. Pick this curve. It should remember the last one I used, which it did. You notice I got that small one that I did the first time. No big deal. I'll just hit escape and click on this and hit delete. And just like that, I came up with some crazy shape. So what we were doing here was I have an example of a triangle and then a triangle with tan, 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 circle with a radius, circle with a diameter. I did some random selections. Okay, and then I had the 3 circles where I could do tan, 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 and then also tan, tan radius, which isn't listed. I showed you how to create a box, create a plate with a hole in it, and to create slots using tan, tan, tan with vertical and horizontal rectangles. That's what we get to do for day 1. See if you can create those geometrical shapes.